Welcome to the Guitar Shop Podcast. We're going to have to verify this. I think we are Season 2, Episode 6. And we've got full complement.
And if we weren't before, we are now.
We got full complement tonight. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thank
Good
you.
to have you again, Alex. Good to see you
Finally
tonight.
back from my trip to Indiana.
I am Wade Stark, owner of Wade's Guitar Shop.
I'm Dan Hintz. I'm not the owner of Wade's Guitar Shop.
Ballard, Alex, Management, Wade's Guitar Shop.
And Special Agent.
Check us out on the website, wadesguitarshop.com. Click on the podcast link. Any comments, questions, ideas, anything, send us pictures, stories, whatever you got to Wade's Guitar Shop at sbcglobal.net.
Wow, we were right there. Perfect.
Yeah, that was
The harmonies
that was
are
glorious. You can check us out on iTunes. We are on Miro, Zune Marketplace, which Zune Marketplace is about to disappear and be rolled into Xbox Live, something like that.
Don't know on that one.
I didn't get the memo on that one.
Miro is being purchased by Jackson
By
Pollock.
Dr. Moreau, apparently. Yeah.
And they
He's
moved on
moving
to
on from
Ireland.
Island.
Animal computer sort of thing on an island. Yeah.
Half chimp, half Nintendo, eh?
Do you remember the island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando as
Yes.
Moreau?
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer?
Do you remember the musical with Charles Nelson Riley? Do you remember it?
do not.
You
You're
didn't miss
serious?
that one? No, it was never.
No. I don't even know who Charles
On the island of Dr. Moreau!
Oh. Okay.
Charles Nelson Riley, Match Game fan, and he was on Lidsville. Yes, Lidsville. Yes. Sid and Marty Krofft production. It was fantastic.
Okay. Oh, right.
Oh, dudes! We don't know. Ed and I don't know what in the world you're talking about. Lidsville.
Okay. Lidsville, yeah.
Well, you
Lidsville.
don't remember HR Puffin stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Well, Lidsville was kind of like that, where all the creatures were hats.
HR Puffin stuff, yeah.
And
That's it, huh? Just hats.
They were all different hats.
Lidsville,
so there was a top hat, and there was
Nothing
a
else.
derby.
They were hats?
They were hats. So the creatures were hats.
It
I
was
thought they were creatures who wore nothing but hats.
I saw that one. Well, Charles Nelson Riley was the head of the crazy Lidsville world and something.
Oh, yeah, it is coming back to me now.
Coming back
Yeah,
to
it's
me
coming
like it
back.
was.
I remember it like it was.
Breath tape already. Okay, anyway.
And that's the end of episode 6. We're glad that, yeah.
As
Episode
very
7 for
frequently happens on this show, we are unscripted and unedited, and not only that, but I just basically
Unsane, really.
quite unsane.
And that comes after that then, really? That's my question to you.
Insane, and then there's element Hussein, Hussein, and Saddam Hussein. I have only somewhat briefed these guys on what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Completely unscripted.
And the theme of tonight is danger.
Will Robinson.
Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Yeah, what not to do or what people are commonly doing to guitars, amps, effects pedals that they should not be doing. And I've got a pretty long list, so you guys can chat as much as you'd like about what goes on here, and you can just let some of them go as quickly as you'd like.
Dan, I see the dice rolling around in your head there, Dan.
There might also be one or two false positives in here, so I may try to slide one past you where you can go, I think you kind of pull one on me here. So let's jump right into it here. The first one is, do not over-tighten a Strat-style trem arm. And I maybe made that one first for a reason.
Guilty as charged. Yes.
How in the world do you get that nub out of there? I learned that one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
63 Strat, my dad's.
Oh, no, you did not.
To the 63?
Yeah.
I did it to my 78 Strat shortly after I got it.
Luckily, it was so loose from being for so many years that I could take my finger and go like this. I was sweating. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, you got it to back out of there?
What we're of course talking about is if you over-tighten the trem arm on a Strat. Very often you've weakened where it threads in, and you're going to snap that arm off at some point.
It's like busting the head off a screw.
Yeah.
How do you get it back out of there? And we could tell you that, but then we'd have to kill you. But yeah, no, guilty as charged. I just did it. I was like, oh, I just want to go around one more time. What the? Yeah, so.
Well, and Fender has
You're just going to hit a sweet spot where it's like,
And
it's not going to move anyway.
And
it's
you're
not
holding
to
in your
do
hand.
this.
Yeah. So it's easy to do.
Fender came up with this sort of miracle little cure that not many people know about or use, but it's kind of cool. It's this tiny little, very, very, very stiff spring that you drop down into the hole before you thread your arm in, and that way you're always kind of compressing against something, so it makes your trem arm nice and stiff without threading it in all the way.
Doesn't always work, though.
Doesn't always work. And of course, when you take your trem arm out and put your guitar away, it falls out.
It falls out, and you go, well, whatever happened to that spring thing? So it's a good idea, but they need it.
Yeah.
So is that a solution, or?
Okay, works, but buy about 6 of them. If you can find a store that has
cheap.
them,
They're cheap enough.
Get a number of them and just, check it out.
I think what they're trying to say is do not put your trem arm in your Strat. It's not meant to really be used.
They should be designing that. They should design one
people
where it's connected to the bottom,
the Strat trim.
right underneath.
Bigsby trem arms do not break off. Let's just go with that one.
Geez.
Okay, the second one. Do not do not.
Do or do not.
Do not do.
It says do not. Do not adjust pickups as close to the strings as you can in an effort to make your guitar louder.
Magnetic fields.
Magnetic fields.
Right.
Tell us about magnetic fields, Diane.
Well, you know what? Those high magnetic pickups, those are going to pull on the natural vibration of your string, and it's going to inhibit that a little bit.
You don't want
You're going to cause buzz. You're really not going to get it any louder. You're just going to cause problems. I think there's a happy medium.
Well, yeah, there's ultimately kind of one range where your string can be in that, because if you look at the magnetic field, which is sort of like a sphere around the top of, let's say, a Stratocaster cylindrical-shaped Alnico magnet, it's sort of a spherical magnetic field, and the closer you get to the magnet, you're in a part of the field where you actually kind of make your tone muddy. And then, the magnet pull on the string causes string buzz. It puts a warble in the string, creates false intonation.
And that magnetic field is much bigger than you would think, because you think, well, it's I tap on it, it's not very loud. I try to talk into it. How does it But it's mostly based on magnetics anyway. So
and
it's not like with a microphone when you're right up on top of it. Even then, with a microphone, you don't want to do that. There's a sweet spot.
Right. Yep.
Number 3, if you are using 10 to 46 gauge strings on your Les Paul, don't throw a set of 12 to 52s for a beefier tone. Which we actually get fairly frequently. Somebody says, I'm playing 10s right now, I want to try a set of 12s.
Yeah, right, I want to,
do your fingers a favor and don't throw any
that's a big
Well, do your Les
too,
Paul a favor, too.
Unless you're tuning down a step and a half or more.
Right. From being in standard tuning, right.
That's a whole.
But jumping gauges, maybe a gauge in either direction, but assuming your neck is perfectly straight, things ain't going to be right. Your intonation's going to be a little out. If you go from a 10 to a 12, your neck will go from straight to crazy bow. and then you'll be like, why is my intonation out, and why does it play like hell? But
Yeah.
if you set it up for it and adjust, that's what the truss rod is there for. People is to do that.
And
So-
intonatable saddles, of course.
Exactly, and the saddles are going to sit in a way different spot. The 12s are going to sit much higher in the saddle than 10, so you're going to want to move those saddles too.
Well,
So,
danger
yeah.
too with the nut slots. I mean, I guess that's one
Oh,
thing
yeah.
too. Gibson and Fender pretty much are sending their guitars out with 9s or 10s. You throw a 52 instead of a 46 into
Especially
that
that
low E
low E.
slot.
Yeah, it's going to sit
It's-
real
it's-
high.
yeah, it's not gonna go all the way down in the
It's going to
slot.
get
Or it
pinched.
breaks the end of
Yeah.
the nut right off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. My
How
nut
about that
cracked. Well, why do you have these, 68s on the,
Yeah,
I
that's
hear
a
there's
bass
your problem
string,
right there. That's a bass string, sir. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for whatever gauge works for you, but definitely you want to have your guitar tweaked for that gauge. Again, you probably could and I won't say weasel, but, you could go from a 10 to maybe an 11 gauge set and not have to reinvent the wheel per se. Maybe you can go from a 10 to a 9 if your neck had a little bow to start with. But again, if your neck's perfectly straight and you go to a 9, it's going to back bow. If your neck's already bowed and you go a gauge up, it's going to bow crazy. And if you have a vibrato system, forget the whole thing. I mean, Floyd Rose is going to go to hell in a handbasket if you try to do that thing.
I think a decent setup and sticking to what you decide you like as far as strings, and if you decide you want something heavier, I think a setup
You
is
just
worth
got to do a
investing
setup,
in.
ultimately. Yeah.
Well, be aware of what strings you have on your guitar. A lot of people really kind of don't know.
It's the other thing too. Yeah,
True
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you come
Yeah.
into the shop and say, give me something for, I'm kind of a beginning, intermediate. Give me a set of strings. You buy it, you put them on, and you forget what you put on.
I've had them come in here. Can you remember which strings you sold me last time? No, I do not.
I don't even know who you are. Yeah.
What guitar? What? Yeah.
Oh, I've got several people that I have a completely dysfunctional relationship with in that regard. They go, the strings you always get me, and I go, these ones, and they're like, yep,
Yes.
Flat line,
those are
flat line 13.
Right. Those are mandolin strings you just handed me.
These just
Yeah.
came out.
But,
They're the very first pack.
No, there are a few people that I do actually remember what they use, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
come on, what do you expect of me, people? But anyway, so yeah, know your gauge.
Come on, people. What do you?
Well, I don't even know what the hell gauges I got on my crazy guitars, let alone trying to remember what you got on your guitar,
Hey, you just forget it.
What?
Wasn't that what we just told you? Remember what your strings are?
Know your strings. And if you're not sure, take your guitar into a shop and have them throw a micrometer on there and tell you what kind of
Yeah.
strings you have on there.
I don't want you calling me in the middle of the night going,
Do you
remember what string?
Yeah, okay.
All right. If
I do
this-
that with tunings and capo positions. It's at 4, right? And everyone looks at me like, 5? 4? I don't know.
That was true. When you played out a few weeks ago, you are totally like you're kind of making it up as you go along, and of course then the whole kangaroo tail. All right, forget it.
And then
The kangaroo tail was hilarious.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Maybe we'll put that in the show notes. We don't need to explain that right now. But it was as much a comedy act as it was a musical
You
act
missed
that
it.
night.
You missed it.
It was
I,
awesome.
I did.
I
All
laid
right,
it down.
for you guys who are going so far as to do rewiring or lasses.
Wiring.
Ladies.
If you are rewiring your
Lady
own
wiring.
guitar, don't use a big soldering gun and whatever speaker or extension cord you have lying around for the wire.
Wow. True that. Yeah.
I always use speaker wire.
Do you just like,
No,
I'll
I
just
do
grab
not.
this, like lamp wire.
No, you
Well,
get more resistance in thicker wire.
Yeah.
You know,
True that, man.
and shielding is something to take into consideration.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, in all the time you were doing rewiring here, I mean, how many times did you and I still to this day, I mean, 25 years of doing this, how many times you pop open a control cavity and there's that sort of clear coat,
yeah.
16 gauge speaker wire.
It's always on like a 60s or 70s Univox or something like that, you know?
Yep.
Twisted
Twisted
wire nut.
outside.
Wire nut on there.
nut.
It works on your.
I'll just bolt it
works
on
on my
there.
dimmer switch. It'll
Right.
work here. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a pot or is that your dimmer switch? Right? Don't use.
Don't use
And
a
do
rail.
not use
Yeah,
no dimmer switches.
I'm getting
in
a
your
lot
guitar.
of a radio station. Yeah, right. Don't turn your guitar into a.
Yeah, you
Hey,
find
the
some-
house
AM
lights are
radio.
going up and down while I'm doing this.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Good stuff. Hey, you know that bottom I had that when it was that huge ass. No, you remember that Vox cabinet that I had? The two
Yes.
And you know how like I put like 8 different speakers in there?
The
and
one
it
I
always-
didn't like at all.
Right, and it sounded like totally
Sounded
crazy,
it
like
was-
totally
the speakers
boxy.
were
Right.
pointing at
At
each other.
in a big
There's
war-
there's
you know,
a conspiracy
right.
coming here.
So,
enjoy
anyway,
it.
I just was like, it was just baffling to me, but I literally did try, I think, 3 different speaker combinations.
You kept saying, "Oh no, it's fine.
It's fine. Well, it was driving me batty. Long story short, I had Wade put a parallel jack in there for me, and we took out this printed circuit board widget.
I'm going to go into the Momenchance portion of it.
But anyway, whatever the hell was on there was making that thing sound like a crazy
Really?
beep. Yeah, there must have been something
You're not
wired
supposed
out
to
of
say
phase.
these words.
But literally, that's just to sort of stress the point that there was something funky going on there, and just using regular good switchcraft jacks.
Yeah, sometimes less is more.
Right?
Definitely.
It had this little printed circuit board thing, and there must have been
Must have
something
had-
funky on there.
Vox tone in there. Some sort of like, I don't know.
I don't know what they were going
signature
for. Who
Vox
knows?
circuit.
Yeah.
Some
Proprietary
unintentional
thing.
crossover.
That-
Right,
Nobody
right. We
wants,
pass
yeah.
on everything below 150 hertz
Yeah.
to give you that mid-rangey, well, anyway, so,
Well, I'm glad.
use good wire.
Does it sound good now?
Use good
Sounds
wire.
awesome.
We here use 24 gauge stranded wire. We use a very fine tip soldering pencil, not the big crazy 800 watt gun or whatever that is. Have the right tools for the right job. Good
Right.
wire, good solder. Typically 60/40 rosin core. Clean surfaces too. If you're dealing with old, crappy parts, either replace them or get a little file or an emery board and then clean up some fresh metal for your solder to adhere to.
Yep.
Do not adjust the truss rod to change the playing height of your strings.
Wow.
Get that a lot.
Just soak
Get
that
a
in
lot.
there.
That's just...
Well, what is the truss rod
Though
for?
it does affect it. But-
It does, but it's the wrong operation for what you're trying to accomplish. And for those of you out there who are saying, "I did it and it worked perfect,"
you were forward mode, or you were
you're the exception to the rule.
you were back mode.
The truss rod has one job, and that is to counterbalance the tension of the strings. If you have a piece of wood and you put string tension on it, the wood will bow, you tighten the truss rod, it straightens your neck back out. That's all a truss rod is used for. All adjusting of action then is done with
Saddles and the nuts.
saddles and nuts on it. So,
So that's what it's for.
I agree.
that was simple.
Get your neck
'Cause it's
straight work
true.
from there. Yeah.
It's the truth of it.
He tells only the truth, really.
Do not put steel strings on your classical guitar.
Whoa!
And we do see that.
You can, but you'll just have to buy a set of tuners every 6 to 8 hours.
And
Or
a
a
bridge
new
reset.
bridge. Yeah.
And we can always reinforce that top after you
Those
yank it
guitars
off.
are not
Yeah.
set up for this
Yeah.
sort of tension.
They're made for nylon strings. The two are not, they're different. They're braced different.
Braced
and they're
different,
designed
yeah.
different, and they're really, it's just other than just for experimental purposes only, but just
I say not even.
and not even that. Yeah. No, we end up having to replace people's machine heads all the time.
They get stuck
at
in the bridges,
best.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
The low E's get stuck.
Yeah, trashes.
Oh,
them pretty
and
much,
here's
so,
the
yeah.
most fun one. When in the middle of the night, your bridge comes flying off of your classical guitar in your closet,
Boom! It scares the living bejesus out of you.
takes 3 of the cat's lives out of your cat.
Yeah, right.
All right. Do not restring your 3-on-a-side guitar with the strings going to the outside of the tuning post. Follow that one?
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't really follow it, but I would just say don't wind the string way the hell in the wrong freaking direction. What's wrong with you people? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Not a major one there, but
We're gonna have to go through some Lamas.
Whoosh.
Yeah. Oof, yeah.
I didn't think that was a real big one. I thought we were going to slide
We
right
made a
back
good
to
choice.
it.
No, I constantly, here's the thing. you hit,
on a touchy
you hit a
spot
sore
there.
spot here. Yeah. No, I use this. I use a drill to loosen people's strings when I snip them off.
We're telling you all the right things.
Right. Don't use a drill on your guitar ever, and
I use a jackhammer.
Right, I take a big, those
I use a
pruning
power
shears
washer,
and
yeah.
just,
Sure.
But
sure,
no,
bolt
I
cutter.
mean every once in a
Takes them
while
right off.
I loosen the torque. It's a completely safe procedure as long as somebody doesn't wind it backwards. And I go like this, and they're listening, and then star, and it's just like, come on, really? What the hell, But anyway.
The other lesson is to look and see how they're wound before you take them off.
It's 8:30 in the morning. I just got here.
Oh,
Somebody's wound their strings backwards.
We give these out to people all the time. This is from Martin's owner's manual on how to restring a guitar. I'll actually put a graphic of this up that shows you the correct way to put strings on a guitar.
I need one of these.
Lots of good resources out there.
Give that to Donovan and have him start restringing your guitars for you.
Thank goodness, yeah.
Do not let your guitar get cold.
Ooh. Can you let it get cold, but is there a proper way to...
Dan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'll let
Go ahead,
Alex.
Alex.
I mean, he says it, so it must be law, right?
I told you I was going to slip some in. Your guitar can get cold.
Yeah, it can get cold.
As a matter of fact, very expensive guitars are shipped in the winter, and they get very, very cold in UPS's trucks and warehouses. But,
here's the big but.
Yes, the big but.
Let them acclimate to your climate before you open them up.
Yes, so if they're in a box,
Let them over-acclimate.
Slowly warming to room temperature is the crucial thing here. It's the shock in temperature. Wood and lacquers, wood and polyurethanes shrink and expand at different rates. If you take a 20-degree Fahrenheit guitar and open its case in a 70-degree room, you will very often hear...
Worse.
Or worse. That's your finish cracking because it was shrinking at a very different rate than the wood was. So it's the shock and temperature that guitars don't like, but it is okay for them to get cold as long as there's a slow warm-up process.
That said, the caveats to that are don't go out of your way to make your guitar completely ice cold. And also, people come in for lessons and stuff, and it's surprising. It'll be, freezing cold out, and people will come in with their acoustic guitar right out of a, 20-degree, and I'm like, oh, and I sold them the guitar. I'm like, where's your bag? Oh, yeah, I left it.
No case, right?
They're just no case trucking right into the store, and I'm like, really? Because come on now, I know I sold you a case with it, I didn't even bring it, So obviously that
hogwash,
that type of thing you would also want to avoid, but
yes.
Keep it in a hard shell case, and it should be all right.
Do not leave your strings on your guitar forever or until they break, whichever comes first. That's not the rule. So.
You can. Good luck with that.
Well, what's going to be
I detune slightly if they're going to be on for long periods, and I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah.
About a step.
But I mean, let's say you leave your strings on. You play it, half hour a day, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours a week, and you leave them on for a year, 2, 3 years. They're not breaking. Why should I change them?
Well, they just lose. The main reason would be they would lose their elasticity, so they wouldn't stay in tune as well.
Right. And they will sound terrible.
And that's a drag.
Even if they have no playing hours on them, strings will get dead. I mean,
and live it up, it sounds so much better, and they're, it's not like,
Well, the guy at the store yelled at me for winding them wrong, so I just left them off.
Change your strings. Who are you? You wound them wrong. You got crappy strings. Get out of it.
He let me in with all these people. I don't know.
But live it up, baby. They're not. It's not super expensive.
Right now, it's about the same price as a gallon of gas. So live a little, get your strings.
Right. True that. Yeah.
So you mean I put
Just
about
walk there to get your strings.
12 packs of strings in my car?
Yeah. Think about that every week. That's probably what we're doing. Do not forget to replace batteries before a show or tour.
Are we talking Eric Johnson now, or are we? Don't
Don't
replace them too quickly, though. Yes. Wait to measure them as you go on stage. You're looking for about 7.5.
Be prepared.
millivolts,
That's what I always say.
Be prepared.
No one likes to get asked, hey, dude, do you have any extra 9-volt batteries? Like if you're in the opening band?
Yeah, I sure don't.
Is there a Walgreens down the block? Well,
I'll go run and get them for you.
This happened recently, I take it, yeah. I have this wireless, and I guess there's a battery in there. You're like, yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I guess along with that, know if your instrument, especially bass players out there, because most of you probably have these days with newer basses, you have active electronics.
Yeah, acoustics with actives too.
Yeah, know that you have a battery and where it is.
The bitter music store guy in me wants to charge you between $25 and $50 to change your battery because I literally, it's so off. Half the time, my bass stopped working. Really? Is there a battery in there? I don't think. No,
I've never changed it.
never changed the battery.
Well, then there must not be.
Oh, okay.
There's no batteries in your smoke detector. There's no battery in your car. There's no.
Oh, really?
Your pacemaker?
Come on. What time do you think
Or
we're
worse
living
than that,
here?
right. Hey, my bass stopped working, and I put I put a fresh battery in there. You put a fresh battery.
Oh
in?
yeah,
Or did you?
I tested it on my car.
Do
I
not
took it out
tongue
of the
test
smoke
a
detector.
9-volt battery.
Don't take it out of your smoke detector that you never use.
Unless you have LEDs in your eyes. And there's a plus and minus on each side of your tongue.
And
Yeah.
somebody else reads it, because if you look in the mirror, you're going to think you have 6 volts.
My battery seems
I
to
just
make
thought
your
of
bass
another
work.
cool invention.
But my battery's $50.
A 9-volt battery tester that's a guy's head and a tongue sticking out, and you can just plug the battery
That I
into.
understand. Now this I get. Yeah.
Did you try your tongue or his tongue?
Mr. Tongue.
I think his tongue is going to be more accurate
We're
than
gonna have to
yours.
edit that for sure.
Oh my goodness! You should put a big tongue on the with a meter behind
And a
it.
battery
With
display.
a little battery clip on it, sticking out of the guy's tongue, and you can just his tongue
You
is
should get one for the counter, and then
Yeah.
you can bring your battery in and test it.
a Rolling Stones tongue with one of the battery clips.
And when
No,
you
no,
when
no,
you
when
flip
it's-
it and it's good, it goes start me up.
No, when it's 9.5 volts, it goes, ah!
Good call, right?
Do not let your acoustic guitar get thirsty.
Ooh, yeah.
Now,
Even though I don't play my acoustic guitar, like I just mentioned,
But it's important
I tune
that you
it
know it's
down,
there. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I still hydrate it. And I probably do it less than I should. I do it once a week.
we are still stone
coldest.
cold here. We are, yeah, I mean, we're
I
heading into spring now, and it's still cold here, and we're still running humidification in the shop. And if you have an acoustic guitar and you're seeing temperatures in the 20s and 30s, or right around 0 Celsius, humidify. They're they're cheap. They're awesome. They will save your investment.
Get two. Yeah.
They've saved me.
Ed,
row two.
Ed needs two.
Yeah.
Jocelyn's not here.
You want
but,
to keep it at a minimum of
get a couple for
45%
her.
humidity. That's the big one, people. That is the big one. That is the main care and feeding thing.
Come on, people. Whoever you are.
Show
out
the
there.
love for your
A humidifier
instrument.
is about 3 gallons of gas, and pretty soon it'll be 2 gallons of gas. And if there's more turmoil in the North Africa and Middle East, it will be 1 liter of petrol.
All right.
Do not let Alex and Dan sit right next to each other. See, now I knew that.
This is
one
a
was
proven because we've been able to do this for.
Should we try it for a minute?
No, I don't want that to happen.
No.
Really, that was on there, huh?
No.
Do not let Alex and Dan sit right.
He's fine.
Remember what I
doesn't,
said?
yeah.
What he says is law.
Do not grab whatever power supply you have just lying around and use it to power your whatever that you
Blah,
fill in the
blah,
blank
blah.
there. Yeah,
Right.
your DD20, aka Giga Delay.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, you can't just, come on now. Really?
Wow, you are just like Father knows best tonight. No,
Come on, people.
this is
Your boss 9-volt adapter won't work in your Digitech whammy pedal. Actually, nothing works.
Digitech whammy pedal.
we can prove that.
I'm not even sure that the Digitech whammy pedal thing works.
Yeah, if you're buying
got one that
one on
works.
eBay and
You
it does
people
not
are
have the
lucky.
power supply.
You people.
Uh,
But the worst part about it
The
is you
opinions
can blow up
expressed here are-
whatever you're plugging into,
Right.
which is
Right. You don't want to take a $200 piece of wonderful gear and just go like this, and in a moment, bam, it's
because you
dead
plugged a
and gone.
$10
Yeah.
You didn't want to
Yeah.
get the right 10.
Or the polarity was opposite. You could be
Yeah.
the exact right voltage, and you know, most of these companies do not label on their pedals what the polarity is,
Yeah.
what the exact voltages they're looking for. You know,
Well, and the
It's-
shame is some of these independent companies actually. I bought something that was from Subdecay. I don't know if anybody.
Shout out to something.
It was.
I'm on Subdecay Records.
Well, it says it doesn't take a 9-volt battery, but it takes a. You have to use an adapter with it, which isn't supplied,
Right.
which we don't make. But it's similar to a Boss one, or you know. So you're like, oh,
I'll just use
okay,
this.
I'll just be experimental and just start.
With my $200.
But it worked okay.
Yeah, it works fine with
Right,
Boss, but
right.
I mean, for someone who
I know,
isn't
right, right. If
exactly
you make
sure,
the pedal, maybe,
or you buy
yeah,
it used and you don't know, you don't have the manual with it. You know,
Right,
you're like,
right.
really?
Manufacturers, A, label it on the pedal. B, you know, sell a compatible unit just to eliminate any, you know, because sometimes you try 3 different ones and none of them work. You just want to go, hey, just give me the right one. You know, I can't be messing with this.
At least they specify that if it's Boss compatible, because then you know it's pretty
Right,
wide
and,
open.
and that would be the last.
But you have to know what
Father
Boss
knows
compatible
best.
is when you're looking at the power supply.
Right.
Because if it
Right.
just says 9-volt, it could be 9-volt AC.
Yep.
You know, it could be not enough milliamperage, so you're
It can be
thinking.
reverse polarity. It can be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Reverse polarity.
So,
for sure.
you know, that's the other thing. I would say to manufacturers is, you know, it has gotten a lot better. You know, that they're integrating all of these similar type. You know, wherever possible, use that sort of standard, that Boss style standard.
Yeah, no matter how bad you want to play that pedal or that, you know, doing the quick in and out sort of thing, it's still gonna blow your pedal. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no
whether you
time
go
limit.
quickly.
to-
Oh, I
yeah.
only plugged it in for a second.
Oh,
You know,
man,
right?
It was only in there for 2 seconds.
Also, right. I mean, the main things that people are doing ultimately, where really bad things happen. I won't say the main. Well, probably the main thing. So is where the voltage is off, right? Where you take a 9-volt pedal and go, well, I had this one from Radio Shack and it was set to 24 volts. Yeah, you know.
So it's more, you know.
So it's a little bit more. Yeah.
It'll cover the 9
Well,
volts.
slowly companies are making the conversion to the Boss PSA style adapter and that barrel and that polarity.
And
So it's-
kudos. You know.
But
Yeah.
you know, pedals don't wear out. So I mean, there's 40 years of pedals, you know, on our rack over here, and
That
on most
use
people's
all
pedal
different
boards.
kinds of- yeah.
And,
And even like you said, there are new manufacturers that are making. We were talking about fuzz pedals. There's a lot of weird things going on with the inherent in the design of a fuzz pedal that can cause strange power supply things. So I mean, it's the waters are uncharted sometimes with these older pedals. And yeah, we want to use these older pedals and stuff. So, you know.
Well, I'm going to race through a few of these because we're running a little short on time, and we haven't even got through half of them yet, but I got one on here for Dan. Do not use the 49-cent cable that came with your Squire Starcaster from Target.
Oh, where's
Can you just rip one?
Yank!
yeah, because you can rip them right apart like this. Like
See
it's
our
like,
podcast called Cable Guys? Dan
Yeah.
does an awesome spontaneous cable ripping there.
I wish I had one right in front of
That
me.
was awesome. Do not put electric guitar strings on an acoustic guitar.
You could do that if you want.
I slipped one in. See,
Little
that's
setup work.
it's
maybe.
totally cool.
Yeah.
As long as you're staying with a similar gauge of string, if you want to experiment with bronze strings on an electric, nickel strings on an acoustic,
Bass strings on a ukulele. No, wait, no, I take that back. Yeah.
keeping within similar tensions. That one, that one is actually totally fine. So,
Okay.
so whoever's podcast, just cut it, well, and then you're not going to forget it. Do not put a new $3,000 Martin on your old $10 guitar stand.
See, this is where he's totally wrong. See, this is totally fine to do.
If it's an old stand,
No.
hopefully no,
This is the
yeah.
same as the power supply.
Okay, yeah, live it up, get a real freaking stand.
And why?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, well, the main reason, mostly, why, is that strange, terrible things happen between neoprene foam or whatever these various foams that they use on the stand and this wonderful fresh lacquer they just put on this expensive Martin. Sometimes you put a guitar, particularly a new guitar, with fresh lacquer on a stand, you come back 2 days later and the foam and the lacquer have interacted, and the sad thing is in some cases it not only do they kind of meld together, but the lacquer it starts to break down. It almost feels like water or something.
Yeah, it starts.
So
to get
you start to
runny.
Gooey.
yeah, it gets gooey, and so you think, oh well, I got this little black spot on the back of my neck. Well, you start to work on it, and you're going to wind up with this giant,
Yeah.
and it. Anyway,
The thing to point
this
out
is what
is
we're trying to watch out for.
lacquer is much different than polyurethane in many respects.
Yep.
You know, I mean, polyurethane.
Yeah, a lot of the modern polys dry
plastic,
quick.
which is what they design the cheaper stands for.
Yeah.
And the
Not
old
anticipated.
guitar stands, that rubber or the polyurethane or whatever that stuff, different stands, different materials, but that rubbery stuff, the foam protector, it starts to break down over time. It's
Right.
it's outgassing, it's breaking down, it's creating chemicals.
Right. You can
of its
even
own.
have a stand that you've had for a long time that's always worked fine with a specific guitar.
Yeah, it worked
And-
fine with everything else.
Right,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one day after 10 years,
Be
they
cautious,
decide to
yeah.
freak out, So, again, if you're looking for a solution to it, one is go with, in general, the higher quality stand companies who do a lot of testing, like I would say like Hercules or K&M and some of the more higher quality brands. They're going to be better stands anyway. They're going to last longer, and they do actually test it on a variety of finishes. Contact the manufacturer and say, this is what I have and this is what I want. There's probably not a lot of resources there. But what
Better
you
safe
can
than
do,
sorry,
Yeah, better safe than sorry. What you can do though is what's called a stand bra.
Yes.
Ep06. Oh, wait, I'm going to go grab one. But it's just this kind of fuzzy, cottony, chamois sort of device that you can put
ahead and
on.
open it up.
Yeah, you can put it on the bottom and top of the stand. Little fuzzy guys like this, they can go over the tubing on a tripod stand.
It's kind of like gorilla fur.
Yeah.
Gorilla fur.
Yes.
Yes, as it were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see? Back in the
Well, my-
70s, Elvis and I. Yeah.
No, I've already. Okay, that's good.
All right, how are we looking here?
Mm,
Here, let me stick this under my sunglasses. Under my glasses,
I
sunglasses.
can't really get it in there.
Okay,
So anyway,
while he's working
but
on
these
that
are great,
one,
yeah.
do not put an SG in a gig bag. I know most of you with SGs out there do have your SG in a gig bag because a lot of the lower end ones.
It's trouble. Let's face it. Would you put a Les Paul in a gig bag? I
Well,
guess
that's my next one. Do not put a Les Paul in a gig bag. Do not put a D28.
What if you lift it up
in
and
a
it fall
gig
right
bag.
through the bottom?
Anything with a pitched headstock like this.
That's
is
worth more than
trouble.
$100.
That's worth more than $100 is trouble in a gig bag. I mean, that's that brake angle, the pitch of that headstock results in an enormous amount of pressure right at that spot there. So you could take an SG and drop it from about 8 inches, and it could pop that sucker. So anyway, you may want to invest in a hard shell case if you don't want that to happen.
Do not let old bridge parts, screws, etc. fly around in your hard shell case. This is one I don't know how you immediately respond to this one, but this is one of those ones where
So you're using it as an instrument
Yeah,
without a
right.
guitar in it.
The maraca. A lot of guitars get scratched and nicked and dinged from parts floating around in your hard shell case. If you're throwing
that.
old parts in there, make sure they're secured in that storage compartment, or get a little a pickup box or something to put all your stuff in, so it doesn't bounce around and get caught in the corners and scratch the
I
heck out of your-
occasionally, because they get kind of fuzzy, I occasionally run my hand through just to see if there's anything.
That
Lot
fell
longer
in
edges.
there, or
Yeah.
string ends that fall in there.
Oh,
That's
sure.
a good call.
Sure.
Once in a while, just run a vacuum through there or something like that.
True.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go
What?
ahead.
Why do
You
put
people,
weird
you always want to
things?
ask
You
questions.
people?
Sorry.
What is going on with what you put in your the things I found in hard shell cases? Anyway, alarm clock. I don't.
Do not change that one bad power tube in your twin reverb.
Ooh.
Alex, there's one you're going to love.
Oh yeah.
Dan doesn't like that one either.
Do them in pairs.
Yeah, you
Inside,
have to
outside.
match tubes. You got to do match tubes. Come on.
So if your amp has one power tube, you're okay, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a Class A with one power tube,
Yeah,
you
you're
can-
good.
Okay, what if it has 2 or 4? Then what's the
If
rule?
it's Class A and it has 2 or 4, you just buy a matched. You should be all right. If it's Class A B and it has 4
Like a twin reverb
octals,
has.
right? You're saying most amps are the innies and outies is the way they do it usually. Pairs, but yeah, if
I would
the
always
amp
replace
has,
them all, really.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Ultimately, is just do them all. So if you blow one, just you can save the old ones that may or may not be good, and maybe you could limp through a gig if you had to.
I think there's a
Yeah.
theme here of don't be cheap. I mean, we're not trying to get you to come in here and spend all your hard-earned cash, but
Well, the other side of it too is you've bought this expensive amp. You should take care of it.
Right.
There's no.
expensive guitar, change your strings. You got a nice twin reverb.
And it's
give
fun
it
to
some
spend
fresh
money at
tubes once in a
guitar
while.
stores.
I know.
Because there's
You
grumpy
don't
guys
see?
there that yell at you. Yeah.
You people want tubes?
Do not set your beer next to your pedal board or on top of your Marshall Plexi.
Or at the very least, don't set your beer near my pedal board and my plexi. Yeah, 'cause then you got
When you go see a show and you put your beer on the edge of the stage right in front of the guitar player's pedal board, he's not feeling that. I don't care.
You're going to hear a kind of a whooshing sound followed by a guitar smacking you across the jaw. Yeah.
And you go, you people and your drinks on the stage. Sorry.
Father knows best, mother knows best.
Yes.
All right, we got a few
keep
more,
going.
but I'm going to jump on to viewer mail because we're running a little bit short here.
All right. And change scenery.
But thank you, that was quite enjoyable.
Oh.
Wade, Alex, Dan, thanks for creating an awesome podcast. It's really helped
Oh,
me.
wait. After you see this one, you'll want to take this letter back. Yeah, no, sorry.
You people
What?
and your letters.
It's really helped me shape my tone over the past couple of years. You guys do an incredible job of breaking down some very complex concepts and presenting them in a way that's easy to understand. It inspired me to mod my DS1, which,
Wow.
here's the DS1, and we some
Over 1 billion
remind you
sold.
again of how easy these are to mod and how awesome they sound with a real basic
It
mod.
is the quarter pounder with cheese of distortion boxes.
His question, I've spent a lot of time tweaking pedals and amps, but I've never really experimented with different speakers and cabinets. Could you guys share your experience with different speaker and cabinet combinations?
How many seconds do I have?
Yeah, Alex would be the expert on this one.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, but you got your preferences. Well, I guess I'd
I like
start
vintage
with
30s, but
one.
Well, you're kind of a 412 guy.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been lately. Yeah.
But it was Combo City though for a while there. Well, I guess that's what
It
I
still
would say
kind
is.
of is.
Yeah, I would say one big thing for me, or three big things for me. I like sealed cabinets. I like what they call infinite baffle cabs, which basically requires the cab to kind of be tuned to some degree for the speakers that are in there, you know. So that's not an exact science for whatever reason.
How's your Vox tuned?
Well, it's retuned now. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's what our prevailing theory with that Vox was there was something screwy with the cabinet design,
Right.
and I began to believe that because we tried all these different speakers, but in the end it was not. It was something on that little weird circuit board, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the greatest cabinet in the world, but it's so if you heard it, it's like night and day, you know. But anyway, the two main ways you can roll are infinite baffle, which is a sealed cabinet where it's not open back, where the whole cabinet's sealed. In which case, it's like wine. You're going to have to try a bunch of them. You're going to have to listen to a bunch of them. Maybe you're going to use a 212, a 412, a 112, a 110, a 210, whatever. They're all going to have sort of different characteristics. Or you're going to have, what do you call an open back design? It's an open back design. The speaker is free.
Open back.
And the speaker can move freely without any pressure from the cabinet. So it's I forget what you call it, but anyway, in an open back scenario, so those are two very different things that you can go with. I guess the other thing I think about is I like the cabinet to be separate from the electronics. I've had better luck with that. Combo amps sometimes can get the
So
living
you're saying you
bejesus
prefer
out
a
of the-
head and a separate cab?
Yeah, because a combo amp. Now, the devil's advocate to this, though, too, is take a twin reverb and just, turn it up halfway. Turn it up 3/4 of the way. I mean, part of what I think happens at some point is the whole dang cabinet just starts to resonate.
Mm-hmm.
The tubes start to, and the whole thing just heats up like a son of a gun, So, like, that's kind of cool, But, anyway, but you can put all sorts of different speakers in either an open back or a sealed cabinet design, and I guess take it from there. I don't know. Wade,
So what's your current favorite cab design then? What are you rocking the most?
Well, probably my 212 Marshall sealed cab is what I'm probably. But I'm actually rocking the 212s with the 210 Vox a lot, and I have a 410.
What's in that?
75 GTs, which I actually don't like very well, but I don't know, it works in that
Celestion.
cabinet.
75.
75s.
I've been very into the 75s, the G12 75s.
That's what they are. Yeah.
I'm sold on them.
I love the bass. I love the mid-range. The highs, depending on what you're running, what kind of guitar you're running, and what kind of head you're running, can be a little crispy. And
Yeah,
to me,
I kinda dig that.
Yeah, if you want the
Yeah.
crispy bite there, they're great. The vintage 30s give you all, I think, as good or better bass and mids with just a little more rolled off high end.
Yeah.
So those are the Celestion Vintage 30s were my favorite speakers.
The
I guess
Vintage 30s are to me, real mid-range heavy, and the
Very mid-range heavy.
1275s kind of smooth it out a little
They're
bit.
a little, yeah.
The G1275s kind of became the main Marshall thing, like in the 70s with the JCM 800s and that kind of. I mean, that sound of 70s, wall of sound Marshall.
Yeah, really
that's
crunchy,
the G1275.
crunchy. Yeah.
Crunchy.
Great for crunch, yeah. The other day,
Vintage 30, creamy.
Creamy.
G1275,
crunchy, yeah. Also, the one thing that Wade really turned me
And
on
then you get
to
into Jensen's, which are really
right,
glassy.
is magnet
Jensen.
design.
Yeah.
You also have linearity. That would be another thing that you'd want to talk about in a speaker, meaning some speakers are low wattage, and part of the sound is the speaker getting kind of overwhelmed with power and breaking up a little. It gives you a little natural distortion that can be really great. Other speakers are made to just, no matter how many freaking watts, you could never get them to distort. They just stay really clean from whisper to scream. I guess dynamic range, too, would be another thing that's kind of nice. A speaker that can sound good at a real low volume or just can be just pummeled, That's something to consider. But magnets. Old Jensens have commonly used an Alnico magnet, which has just this wonderful warm sound to it. And nowadays, it used to be where Alnico magnet speakers were real low wattage, and just that was the only kind of thing. And right now, and I haven't really listened to a lot of them, but it's kind of a renaissance for the Alnico magnet, because there's all these high watt, like 100 watt, 75 watt, 150 watt Alnico magnet.
Well, it's funny,
speakers coming out.
what's the most desirable magnet in a guitar pickup?
An Alnico magnet, yeah.
But and ceramic magnets are sort of connected with what with pickups?
Little harsher, little crunchier.
And mostly with the exception of a few kind of really cool like Seymour Duncan designs, ceramic magnets are typically what's stuck on the bottom of like Chinese made pickups.
Yeah, true that.
It's sort of the budget way to go. So if Alnico has always been known as the most desirable material for guitar pickups,
Smooth.
it almost completely went away for speakers.
Right. And now it's like a renaissance, where you're getting all these reissues of old, various versions of speakers that, like those Celestion Golds and Blues, I've heard all those sound amazing,
The Belcone Jensen
and the
reissue.
Belcone Jensen. Again, not to take too much time, but we had
That's what Chris Voss has in his 65
yeah.
Twin.
And when we
love
put
that.
those in, he bought a 65 Twin from us, and it had, I think it had the original speakers in it. Is what it had in it,
I think so.
Yeah.
and which would have been mid 60s, probably Oxfords or I don't remember exactly what they were.
Yeah, it was.
like,
I think it was a
get
late
these things
'65,
on
and
it.
I don't think they were Jensens. But
Yeah, so they were not Jensens, and I don't even know if they were Alnico magnet. They might have been a ceramic magnet speaker. It was a round
I
magnet.
think they were ceramics. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
So-
bought one, and
Well, no. When he bought it, he said, "Can we take?" And he had a 69 Twin or something like that he
Right.
had bought. Wade had recommended he did these Belcone
Oh, that's right,
Jensens, and so he had these reissue Belcone Jensens in this later 60s Twin, which he was trading to us. And so he said, "I want to put these Belcones in the the Twin I just bought." And I'm like, "You're going to take original 1965 speakers out and put these reissue
I was all for
Jensens
it. We
in
tore
there."
everything apart, man.
Yep. And we put those things in, and color me
He was like,
impressed. I was freaking blown away. I mean,
right.
and he's been
those
beating the
things
heck
were
out of
awesome.
those
Yeah.
speakers for about 6 years now, and they're still working.
And
perfectly.
road dogging, serious road dogging. So
Yeah.
new reissue Belcone
loud.
Jensens,
Playing
absolutely
loud.
awesome. They ain't cheap either, but
Yeah.
again, we're trying to spend your money here. So
I'm definitely a Jensen guy. I've got two matching 60s Valco-made Gretsch 212 sealed back cabinets with the original Jensens in them. I love them. They're just warm and thumpy and
glassy top end.
I run two 70s different Music Mans into them. I got the 65 watt 210 combo, and I've got a 130 head, and each one of those powers one of those two cabinets. And for me, that's
I like those
that's
130s.
perfect.
Yeah, if you want just really bright, glassy tone without harshness, a lot of those Alnico magnet speakers are the way to go.
And if you like a really, really heavy twin reverb, put JBLs in your twin.
Oh, that would be the other thing is that's cool going on right now is these rare earth magnet speakers. Super lightweight, super efficient speakers. I haven't heard all that many of them, but the Jensen Neos,
Neo-DN.
Celestion has the Centuries or Centurions or something like that. There's a bunch of new super, specs-wise anyway. Neodymium magnets.
Samarium cobalt.
Right. These lightweight magnets. And so just a lot of neat, it's just odd. It's kind of a great time to experiment with speakers. And, like a lot of times with guitars, when I buy the guitar, the pickups really allow me to sort of take the guitar to the next level and really kind of customize it to what so I kind of listen to the guitar and I go, oh, if it had this or that or the other, it would just be perfect, Same thing, kind of you plug it into that amp, and sometimes I think with certain amps, certain speakers just don't work.
Well, it lets you customize it too and put your voice
Yep.
into it.
Yep. So a really good way to just dial your signal in are speakers.
And there's really infinite possibilities of combinations of head speaker cabinets,
Some
types
people
of
do
speakers.
combinations of speakers.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to go
vintage
too.
30 and
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Or
we
a 10 and a 12,
I think
or a
we talked
15
on-
and two 10s, or,
Well, there was the one cabinet we ordered from Mojo that had a single 12 and
Single.
two
a
10s
headphone
in it.
and a 15.
Track down somebody who you trust, who knows this stuff, to help you kind of save from having to go through 40 cabinets. Even though, going through 40 cabinets to find the right one, could be kind of fun if you have a budget and time. Most of us have done that over the course of
Yeah,
years.
it takes a long time.
But if you want to save a little bit of time and money, track down somebody like Alex and Dan, and try and dial in more limited choices. On that note, we're going to head out of here. This has been the Guitar Shop podcast, coming to you once again from beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Danny, thank you. This has been awesome having you back,
it's good to be
Alex. Check us out on the website, wadesguitarshop.com. Click on the podcast link. Check us out on, once again, iTunes, Moreau, Zune Marketplace. Yeah.
And various aggregators.
The aggregators. Send us your pictures, comments, ideas, questions, anything to Wade's Guitar Shop at SBC Global. All right, let Dan do one along because I missed this. Thank you. I'm going to turn that into a loop. Ed, thank you very much. It's been good once again. Jocelyn, even though you're not here, I hope you're watching this at home in a podcast format. We will be back soon. Thank you for joining us. We are outie. Out.
Good night.
Oh, my back.
Oh, my lower back.
Oh, my sideburns.
Oh, my front birds.
How are the plosives? Is it sibilant in here? Is it very sibilant?
Some things don't change, do they?
Except-
Have you gone so long with them?